Today's show is brought to you by the letter C for Cancer Sucks. Hello Internet, my name is Rob DelFranco and welcome to the first installment of the Cancer Chronicle. This show will basically be my soapbox, my media event, and my way to communicate answers, questions, and anything else relevant in my daily life. Before we jump in, I figure I should explain a little about what this all is going to be. It's been 167 days since I was diagnosed with cancer. Barely 2 months into really living life. It's the pits. I know that already. I've always had a gift for writing. I like writing fan fiction, journals, my own stuff, really anything. But my dad and I noticed there wasn't really a guide or some type of book for the 13 to 30 range for dealing with cancer. I would appreciate one. I know that much. Just to look through, to know that I'm not alone. There's like those playful books for kids that help them deal, and then there's you're older, you deal with cancer. There's these self-help books, but there's nothing really for my age group. And unfortunately, from what I've noticed with my friends, with my siblings, no one reads, but they watch YouTube like it's their job. So I figured, why not combine those two? And I posted a Hiccup video. I'll post that in the description. But I was surprised with the amount of views I got with that one. I figured if people are that interested or want to see what's happening in the life of a cancer patient like me, might as well make this YouTube channel. So, with my friends backing me, I decided to make this channel, the Cancer Chronicle, to vlog, share, entertain, inform, basically answer any questions you might have or share what I do in my free time. Going through cancer. I feel really awkward, but you know what? Whatever. This is good. I'm venting, as well as sharing and everything else. So I'll begin this first installment of the Cancer Chronicle, the CC, if you will, with the two most common questions asked of me. When and how were you diagnosed? Well, let's see. Quick background. I was born in Michigan and moved here in Pennsylvania when I was 2. At age 7, I started competitive swimming, and with that, school and friends, that's my life, basically up until about March of 2011, where I decided to just finally retire from swimming, relax, have fun. I met the greatest people I could ever know through swimming. I have some amazing friends, but it was just time to try something different. That fall 2011, I started my college experience at Penn State University Park. I joined a fraternity, Beta Theta Pi, met some great and amazing people, had fun in classes, had fun at football games. I was having the greatest time of my life. And then October 29th occurred. Now, those of you on the East Coast will recall we had a freak snowstorm that day. And because of that, there was a bit of snow, a bit of cold, but Penn State still managed to beat Illinois that game. Solid enough, botched field goal, who cares? I was happy. But I arrived back at my dorm after the game, and I was just out of it. Just decided to sleep, not even go party or anything that day. And I woke up the 30th, that Sunday, with the worst joint pain in my knees ever. It kind of felt like the Terminator scene where Arnold's robot is being crushed by the steel and just knees. Yeah, those were my knees. I was basically ODing on Aleve, Advil, and Tylenol at the same time that day. It was solid, The next day was the 31st. I finally made it down to health services. They said I had an elevated SED rate, whatever that means. I looked it up on WebMD. I saw the worst things that could happen were pregnancy or cancer. Oh, I must be pregnant or I got cancer. Of course, WebMD. Haha, you're good. And then November 1st happened, and I became the sickest I've ever was in my entire life. I looked awful. That was 101 fever I woke up with that day. I I could barely make it down to my checkup appointment at health services. My eyes were watery and glassy. My throat was swollen. My eyes felt like they were popping out because my sinuses, fatigue, just complete lack of energy. The doctor said if my fever hit 103 degrees, just go to the emergency room. So, obviously, I went to the emergency room because my fever hit that, 6 hours later. And then I basically became a house patient for the entire day of November 2nd. They ran all those crazy tests you see, the CT scan, the MRI, the ultrasound, where the technician was really attractive and I had to be like, I feel great, can I get your number? But not really, because I look awful. That's the past. November 3rd hit, a few more blood tests, then the oncology, hematology doctor came in. She came right up to me, my parents who had just arrived, and said I had what appeared to be angry blood cells, which of course makes no sense to anyone except a hematology oncology doctor. But she believed I had ALL, which is acute lymphoblastic leukemia, my cancer. So November 3rd, 2011, I'm diagnosed with ALL, acute lymphoblastic leukemia, which leads us to the second most asked question. What is ALL, and what does the treatment mean for me? Let's go through the terms, shall we? Acute lymphoblastic leukemia is a fast-growing cancer of the white blood cells. Lymphocytes are a type of white blood cell that the body uses to fight infections. In ALL, the bone marrow makes lots of unformed cells called blasts that normally would develop into lymphocytes. However, the blasts are abnormal. They do not develop and cannot fight infections. The number of abnormal cells, or leukemia cells, grows quickly. They crowd out the normal red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets the body needs. The acute aspect of my cancer means I can't blame it on anything. It's one of those freak accidents of nature that my body just decided, you know what, you're getting cancer, ha! It's just, I can't blame it on radiation, can't blame it on military experiments, can't blame it on anything, not getting superpowers, oh well. Like I said, soapbox. Sorry. In the beginning, I had no red blood cells, I had no white blood cells, I had no platelets. What this basically meant was my body had really nothing to carry around oxygen, fight off infection, or stop me from bleeding or bruising. I was a bubble boy, I was put into lockdown, quarantine, no one in or out, and I felt legit awful. That basically was how it worked, because that's when November 4th was right when my, the treatment started, my actual chemotherapy. My treatment is in 5 courses. Now, I'll try and explain those because that's one of the most asked questions as well. My first course was 1 month from November to December. That was the beginning of my chemo, where I just learned basically what it's all about. And damn, did it. I was on steroids, so I blew up in weight. I felt crappy from the chemo running through me. It was really just awful. Worst I've ever felt. But after that first month, I hit the first stage of good news. Chemical remission therapy, or chemical remission. Not actual remission, mind you, but you could say that the body was clear of cancer thanks to the chemicals running through. I still need to make sure that my body stayed this way, so courses 2, 3... That was a power flicker. So courses 2, 3, and 4, the 4 is the one I'm in right now, are called chemical remission therapy. And each of these sucks worse than the next, and the amount of drugs, steroids, and generalized blah I feel every day is awful. But the bright side, beginning of June, I will start course 5. Course 5, the longest of all of these courses, lasts 3 years, but it will finally be called remission therapy, meaning, yes, I'll still be on copious amounts of pills and antibiotics and all those other things, but I'll only be getting chemo once a month. And by February 2014, I will finally be done with chemo. Kudos to that. And that's when I'll be considered cancer-free. I mean, a year and a half after that, I'll be considered cured, and that'll be a great day. I think this is basically covering the good introduction to the show. It gets me, it's out my story, it gets at all those, the major questions asked. What is it? How do I deal with it? What does it feel like? If you have any other questions, leave a comment down below. You can also leave questions or comments at facebook.com/The Cancer Chronicle or on Twitter at The Cancer Chron. Links will be in the description down below. Main point I want to get out before it's over is I couldn't make it through all of this without the support and love of my family and friends. Hopefully all these episodes won't be so dreary and depressing. I'm hoping to share some great videos, comedians, shows, basically anything that entertains me in my large amounts of free time, as well as some other ideas floating around my head. But that's it for the first installment of the CC. Please like and subscribe, share the video if you can. My name's Rob DelFranco, and I will see you next time.